Hey gang, I work with so many people over the age 45 and they're having problems with their back and their knees and their hips and whatever. I'm gonna show you 6 easy, simple exercises for your lower body to help you move better, feel better, and everything that goes with that. So I'm gonna start with this. Let's start with posture. So this is an assessment that many people are not even aware of. You put them against the wall, touch your heels, touch your rear end, touch your shoulders. So before we even get into everything else, what's your posture look like? Can you take both arms overhead and create this extension? Because when we're starting to move our bodies, we get into flexion all day long. That's rounding the body. So again, real simple assessment from here. All right, so I got a great exercise for you. Exercise number 1 is a squat. Now, a lot of people put a bar on their back and they squat down, puts tons of pressure on their body. I'm gonna show you really simple today. So imagine if you had a broomstick, a weighted bar, doesn't really matter, but you create this extension. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take my arms overhead, and as I get closer to the wall, the exercise gets harder because I have to create more extension, which puts a lot more stress on my lower body. So again, it's a total body exercise here, but now what I'm gonna do is my toes are turned slightly out. My weight's equally balanced in my foot. My arms, I'm gonna try to keep them completely straight. And again, the wider you go, the easier it gets. So I'm gonna put my arms a little bit closer together. And I'm gonna squat down now, and I create this extension in my back. So now my back's working, my lower body, my hips are working. Because if I get too close to this thing, I can't do that. I gotta create that extension. So again, that's exercise number 1. The second part of a squat is if I put my hands out in front to counterbalance, now I'm actually leaning against the wall and I come up and I do a row. So this is a great exercise to give you a little bit more range of motion in your hips and your legs and strength of your lower body. And again, it keeps that heart rate up, conditioning, everything that goes with that. Here's a simple tool I use on a regular basis, especially when I'm working my lower body. This pad allows me to have a visual of where I need to go. So I can't be lazy here. If I'm lazy, my foot's gonna catch that. So again, that's why I love the pad or some type of visual here that I have to kind of pay attention to. All right, exercise number 2 is a step back. Now, when people do a forward lunge, that's not where you begin. There's a lot of pressure in that knee. So again, we're gonna start with a simple, again, it's just a simple step back. So all I do is I step back, touch my knee, I come up, and I switch legs. Weight's equally distributed in my foot. My knee's tracking over the second toe. I've added a little balance to it. That's number 1. Okay, number 2, I'm gonna make this a little more challenging. I'm gonna add a little balance to it, same movement, but keeping the same leg. So now I'm working on, and remember, balance is strength. Strength is balance. Sometimes we just feel like we need to load up, and in reality, we don't need to load up. We need to perfect the ordinary. And the third type of lunge, or step forward, step back, this is a lot more balance here. So all I'm gonna step forward, lunge, but now I'm gonna step back and touch. So now my brain is definitely engaged here because I gotta really focus on my balance. But this is not where we begin. This is a little more advanced. All right, number 3. This is called a lateral lunge. I like using this pad here. I'm gonna step over to the side, and I'm just gonna go back and forth. Now this is very beginning. So if you feel like you got knee issues, you got hip problems, works your hamstrings, your hips, my chest is up, my back's nice and flat, and this is the exercise right here. Simple. Next level. I step over, put my arms out in front, my knees tracking over the second toe, and I come back up and I row. So hands go out in front, come up and row. So now I add a little more range of motion, a little more power. If I want to switch sides, again, I'm coming back over. You probably notice you have better balance on one side than the other. Exercise number 4 is a side step monster walk. Great for your hips, your knees, your ankles, core, all of the above. So all I'm going to do is I'm step out to the side. with a really athletic posture. So again, slight squat, try to keep my upper body quiet, works my core, works my heart rate. And you can change speeds here. So again, I can just go back and forth. And then from here, we're gonna do forward and back movement. So just like I'm skating. And again, I have to use my balance here. So we're doing a lot of stuff that's going up on one leg, working on our balance, because remember, balance is strength, strength is balance. Exercise number 5. This is a great exercise for your glute, your hamstrings. It's basically a straight-legged deadlift, but I'm gonna show you how to do this where it's very safe. So step number 1, I turn my toes slightly in. As I go down, my back is nice and flat, and my legs are slightly bent. And as I pull up, I'm not necessarily pulling with just my back, I'm pulling with my hamstrings and my glutes. And I do kind of a semi-row. So again, just going down to the bottom, I'm engaging my core, my navel's up and in, protects my spine, come up and row. And it's that little pause at the bottom. Again, stretching out my hamstrings actually feels great. The advanced version of this, and again, great for your back, your hips, your legs, is a single leg. So I go down, I got 10-pound dumbbells here, and all I do is I come up and I row and I bring the knee up. This is challenging from a balance standpoint, washes my brain, and again, fantastic for your legs. And our last exercise, lower body, is we gotta make sure we're hitting the lower extremities, and that's the feet and the ankles. So I'm gonna lean against the wall, and as I lean against the wall, I'm gonna bring my toes all the way up. This is, again, working your tibialis anterior. And then from there, I just go up on my toes. So again, I'm going back and forth. Again, tib anterior, calf muscles, but a lot of balance here. So again, I'm just using the back of the wall, just again, so I can kind of rebound. But we need to do more and make sure we're always hitting our extremities, whether it's the wrists, the hands, and especially the feet, the toes, and the ankles. And remember, you have the power to feel your best.